It's August 1981, and you're the kid at 7-Eleven. From the spinner rack, you buy What If Daredevil Became an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Believe it or not, this is the backup story because the top feature is what if Ghost Rider were separated from Johnny Blaze. So right here, if we just look at the credits, we can see that this is what's cool. And AKA Padgers, this clearly was very fast work. I'll point that out. Mike W. Barr, Frank Miller, and Klaus Janson. Yeah, it's the forgotten Daredevil Frank Miller story. So let's go. So just to add some context to today's feature of where Frank Miller is in the Daredevil arc, this is Daredevil 190. We look at the date here. We see 1981. Now, let's hope that's focused, right? 1981. Well, we go to 190, right? Let's just look at the dates, because this is going to build the whole conversation. 1983. This is the end of the Elektra arc. The Elektra arc wraps up in 190, double-sized issue, and 191. And then, let's just say, there's a few years of a pause. And Frank Miller roars back in Daredevil Born Again. These beautiful issues here. This is Daredevil Born Again. What year are these? Wow. 1986. Frank Miller was thinking about Daredevil for quite some time. So much so, his backup feature becomes the cover. Because the focal, like the page one story is Ghost Rider. I never even read this. I never even bothered. I'm sure it's good. It looks entertaining. It looks beefy. So look, we have to get all the way through. Look, we even have the Pope in this. Good old Popey boy. And then here, look, we get almost through the entire issue. That's how much we have to go through. That's how much we have left. And here's the wild thing. This is the middle story, because we have an Inhumans one in here. This is why people love What If too back in the day. Whenever they brought back What If, they never brought it back with it being like a dump of ideas. Just pour things into it. It came back with a little too rigid, a little bit too much intent. But here it is. And it's roughly 13 pages. This is so fast. How do I know this was fast work? How do I know we're working off of literal chicken scratch from Frank Miller? Because we got Klaus Janson here. And Klaus Janson and Frank Miller don't always sing together. They have their hiccups. Maybe we'll highlight some of that in a future video. If you're curious about that, comment hiccup down below. But I just want to show you guys. Like we'll get the Sharpie of truth here. Okay. See see Matt Murdock's head here? He's got like a baby head. And even the Watcher here just seems out of proportion. Here, Matt Murdock about to get hit by about to save the guy crossing the street. We know that origin. Crossing the street. Look at how big his hands are. And we get the Watcher too, just not looking right. Battling Murdock here, the boxer. He's right. The upper body just looks out of sorts. So the process for this it's simple. You work as quickly as possible with pencil, and you hand it off to your guy to finish it. So Matt Murdock, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm very much surprised in just Marvel we'll call it as it's like we have to call it the best we can. Marvel proper continuity, the 616 continuity. I'm hella shocked that Matt Murdock or Daredevil have not like. How did this not come to fruition? How did this not already happen in Marvel continuity? Because it's a low hanging fruit idea. You just put Daredevil, you get Shield to hire them. Technically, we've already had Wolverine, Agent of Shield, the Mark Millar JR story. But if you guys aren't familiar with how these stories begin, I do love the opening format where we see the origin, right? Like the origin retold. Matt Murdock crossing the street, seeing an old blind man struggling, about to get hit by a car, saves the old dude. Everything flips out of control. Also, look at this semi truck, this cargo truck. That looks very odd. And here, like we get someone from inside the truck that throws the radioactive element. He throws it. Look, gotta get this. Oof. Canister out of the fire, it might explode. And then, like it kind of does shatter or explode and it goes into Matt Murdock's eyes and we fade to black. Right? This sequence, these 3 panels here, right? I have to look at the original paneling for Daredevil's origin. I think this is nuanced. I think this is a little bit of a riff on the origin of Daredevil. But if you guys know anything, please let me know. My classic Daredevil knowledge is not it's not quite there, but it's getting there because I'm going to get those essential Daredevils. They're going to be on their way soon. But yeah, and then like when we fade to black, the Watcher comes in, he interjects and he's like, "Hey, this is where we're going to diverge." So we see Tony Stark. There is just a little bit of that Marvel magic when a character from another series, or for lack of a better term, another franchise steps into the foray. Tony Stark shows up. It's just exciting, and he has he has a flying car and he flies to the helicarrier, a newly constructed helicarrier, by the way. And guys, I mean, come on, tell me this is not quick work. Look at that illustration. But yeah, he takes Matt Murdock to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get healed. And this is where, again, we add nuance to the origin of Daredevil. This, I feel like, ended up in the 2003 Daredevil movie. They put Daredevil in a isolation chamber because his senses are so heightened from the accident that, and look at I do love this design for a panel, guys. This is comic booking, American comic booking 101 here. I'm not even sure what I mean by that phrase. But the blood moving through his veins, the beat of his heart, his organs moving would drive him crazy. So they keep him in this chamber until he becomes a little bit more aware and acute to his new abilities. And then they yank him out. And here we go. This is how we know we're reading a comic book. Out of nowhere, Matt Murdock's dad, who's practicing, he's like, "Where the heck's my son? My son is missing. He's been gone all day." But he gets taken out by a Hydra decoy, a Matt Murdock Hydra decoy, and gets kidnapped. So Matt Murdock comes through, and all of this is in the course of maybe like 2 or 3 days, even though it seems like it would make more sense if it was months. So they start training Daredevil, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to have to do these things. You're going to have to get this good if you're going to live with yourself." And the entire time, Daredevil's like, like, "You guys keep throwing this stuff at me," and I'm just like, "I'm Daredevil. This stuff's so easy." I mean, he has this. So they're telling him, like, Hydra's out there. Hydra's like, like, maybe you're going to become an agent. Nick Fury the entire time is trying to manipulate everything to get Matt Murdock as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. But here's the wild thing. The costume design here, the LA Lakers costume, the yellow and the purple with the purple bandana across his eyes, does not premiere in this issue at all, which I absolutely love. Because here, he's wearing the colors of Hydra. But, you know, guys, like, really nice paneling here. Like, I love negative space panels. So Matt Murdock is training. He's doing the heavy bag with Nick Fury. Guys, we've seen this often in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like this exact scene, which is fantastic. And Daredevil's like, I can tell you're lying. Like, where's my dad? And Nick Fury doesn't realize that Matt Murdock essentially is a human lie detector. Now, let's cue another small head and big hands because we're drawing quick. But guys, I love, that's all Claus Janson here. We can tell that's Claus Janson. And, you know, we have a double agent that befriends Daredevil. And she's like, hey, I can bring you to Daredevil. We just have to break out of the helicarrier. And Daredevil's like, hello, what? So they do. They start fighting everyone in silhouette form, making their way. And they don't get far. Daredevil tries to steal a helicopter. When he leaves a helicarrier, he tries to jump out of the helicopter. Doesn't really have a landing place. And then gets netted. So they, effectively save Daredevil's life. And then Nick Fury's like, hey, butthole, we just tracked down your dad. We were about to go get him. Do you want to come along? And then here we go. All systems go. Daredevil and, and friend, we'll say, it's a subterranean Hydra base. And here we go. They swim underwater. They do a couple kung fu kicks. We have some, that classic Daredevil, and we can say Batman Year One, Frank Miller, maybe directed, maybe helped with the layouts a little bit because he did collaborate with a couple different people. But, like these are Frank Miller kicks, though. That's what I'm trying to say. And then we see, look, there you go. We see, so maybe this, like, was colored differently. I kind of want to say that. Maybe, like, this was supposed to be yellow and purple, but he's stealthy here, and he's just kicking Hydra's ass. And he's like, hey, the lights are going to go out. I'm whooping everyone. He's like, these guys are going to start shooting each other, which they actually do. So everyone's doing the work for Daredevil, and then he, clears the room, finds his dad. Hydra shows up, and then, like, this guy's like, hey, like, you're toast. But then, boom. So this is the hull of the subterranean, like, base, the underwater base. And we see it gets hit. Not 100% clear. And then, boom. Nick Fury is out to save the day. All the other agents, the Fury agents, the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is also during the early formation, the early days of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, back in the day, like, the true Marvel continuity is, like, the birth of... It's like you kind of have the birth of Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and S.H.I.E.L.D. all formulate around the same time. Like, there really is like a 0.0 to 60s Marvel. So, yeah, they have the dad. They throw in some gas, some mustard gas. They're clearing the room yet again because more Hydra agents showed up. So we don't know if these guys are dead or just knocked out. But, Daredevil gives his dad a gas mask, and one of them shows up because he's like, your dad and that mask are mine. And then Daredevil's dad just like swings around and bops him. He goes, this jabroni here is yesterday's news, but I like the simplicity of this action here. It just works. I love the idea that the contact point is covered by, almost like the falling arm. It's just really good stuff, and this leaves a lot to the imagination, like perfect paneling. Yeah. Rooms full of dead bodies. And Nick Fury's like, you guys did a good job, Agent Matt Murdock, because that was a part of their deal. So if we just go back here, so right here, Matt Murdock joins S.H.I.E.L.D. And Nick Fury is like, look, if you help us and we help you get your dad, will you join S.H.I.E.L.D.? And Matt Murdock says yes. So we see it come to fruition. We see it happen. But we do get some of these, again, like classic Claus Janson thick lines. Like, we kind of do see it here. See, I love the way he bumps the shadows for some of these lines. And even here, like the deltoid, the tricep, everything underneath. the bottom lip here, like the chin shadowing and the chin strokes. Just really cool stuff. This is Carl Jansen using a couple, a couple different style pens that weren't quite common at the time. And by pens, I mean dip pens. So yeah, AK Padders. The Frank Miller's Daredevil before the classic Frank Miller Daredevil. Really cool stuff. And don't quote me on it. I do believe these are very affordable right now on eBay.